Hey, what's going on guys? I'm Silent Core, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about a new Rockstar Games release that could be announced very soon. So this all started from an Australian ratings board who rated the title Bonaire, and this was listed as a Rockstar Games computer games release, and it was actually refused classification in Australia. Now this actually isn't completely out of the ordinary for Australia to do this, since Australia does have some very old-fashioned classification guidelines that they use, and that hence could be the reason why they've refused a classification for this Rockstar Games title. Now unfortunately there's no other information on this rating that gives any information or details on what this actually could be, or even why it was refused classification. And there aren't even any listings on any of the other ratings boards out there, such as the PEGI system we use in the UK for rating video games, so Bonaire can't be found on any other platform. Now you might be wondering, what actually is Bonaire? Now the first possibility is a completely new game from Rockstar Games. However, this one is actually quite unlikely, since the classifications usually come much towards the end of a game's development. You know, it's not something that happens while it's developed. It's got to be finished for it to get classification, and then it's usually released quite soon after. So the classifications is something that happens quite towards the end, and games are usually always announced before they come to classification. So I've seen people speculating that it could be Billy 2 or GTA 6. And the fact that neither of those games have been officially announced by Rockstar makes it quite unlikely to be a classification for either of those games. The second possibility of what Bonaire could be would be a PC port of an existing game, such as Red Dead Redemption 2, which hasn't made it onto PC so far. Now the interesting thing is Red Dead Redemption 2 obviously was classified for release in Australia, so the fact that the PC port would be rejected would mean that there was some sort of additional content put in the game that broke one of the guidelines in Australia. And if you remember back to when Grand Theft Auto 5 came to PC, Rockstar actually introduced a lot of new content into the PC version. You know, it wasn't just a straight port of what you play on the console slapped onto PC. There was a lot of new content, a lot of new upgrades, even new missions for you to play. So potentially if it did come to PC, Rockstar would want to give all us console players a reason to buy the game again when it comes to PC by adding in new content, and potentially that's what broke the classification. And lastly, the third possibility of what this could be would be a story or expansion DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2. Now I don't want to get your guys' hopes up too much, since personally I would love to see this one too. However, we did not get a story DLC for Grand Theft Auto 5 just because of how lucrative it is to make that content into online content, and we saw that exactly happen from all of the content that was supposed to be for a story DLC in Grand Theft Auto Online. All of that content got chopped up and redistributed throughout the online DLCs over the past 6 years. And since we haven't heard anything about a single player story DLC so far about Red Dead Redemption 2, I honestly think it's quite unlikely that we'll even get one. Now I might as well mention it in this video since I've seen so much speculation online, but there's a lot of people taking the name Bonaire and referring it to an island in the Caribbean which is actually called Bonaire, and relating that to the island we visit, which is off the Caribbean in the game, which is Guarma. I think it's in Chapter 5, we've very briefly visit Guarma, and there's a lot of stuff in that area that we don't really get to access, so a lot of people are speculating that there could be some sort of Guarma story DLC, or even coming to online for us to explore. However, in my opinion, the name Bonaire doesn't have any kind of significance to what the game is. You know, these code names that Rockstar uses for their titles, they do this for every single one of their releases, whether it's Grand Theft Auto 5 on console, Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC. Every different release has a new code name, and it tends not to be anything relatable to actually what that product is, hence why it has a code name so people can't identify what it actually is. So in my opinion, I believe the most likely scenario for Bonaire is just going to be a PC release of Red Dead Redemption 2, and we have had quite a few kind of rumours of that already. Another thing I wanted to mention in this video came from Reddit user Mr. Weeks19, who walked past the Rockstar North office in Scotland and snapped this photo, and as you can see, the very iconic Red Dead Redemption 2 artwork of Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang is now being taken down. And a lot of people are speculating that one of the reasons for them removing this poster is they are preparing for another major announcement that they would be putting up here on their building. Rockstar North tend to do this whenever they have a new game release. They kind of use their building as a big advertisement board when they're running their big advert campaigns for a new game release. For those of you who don't know already, I'm actually from Edinburgh myself, and I did snap a picture right outside their office with this artwork very recently, just a couple of weeks ago actually, and you'll see here, this is me in front of Rockstar's office in Scotland. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't already followed me on Instagram, my name is SilentCoreYT, and I'll have a link in the description if you guys want to head over and follow me on there. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think Bonaire actually is. Obviously, with it being classified in Australia and banned, it means that this game is somewhat close to being announced and ready to be released, so it's going to be very interesting to see what this actually turns out to be, if it is a new game from Rockstar or some kind of add-on for Red Dead Redemption 2. If you did watch this video all the way to the end, I'd really appreciate if you could take a few seconds to leave the video a like, and if you are new around here, go ahead and subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss out on any future breaking information. Have a great day guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.